I know there's been a lot of people in the chat room. I see someone just say there, let's start slagging off Nicky and Ryan while they're not here. So, yeah, Nicky was having a little bit of issues with his mic, but he's smiling. How you doing, Nick? You all right, mate?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad, mate. West Ham Fan TV Live and Uncut. The title today is why is Declan Rice getting so much abuse from fans and pundits, mate? I don't know, mate. It's one of them, innit? Like, we're West Ham fans, so we're going to protect him all day long. But I just can't see why he's getting so much hate lately.
It's absolute ludicrous, Ryan. The thing is, with this country, I'm just trying to log on so I can see some of the comments here. The thing is with this country is that we build people up, and like at the end of the day, the guy's a defensive midfielder. He was playing centre back 2 years ago, right? He's 20 years old, right? He's gone into a game. His job as a defensive midfielder, right, is to break up the play and pass it easily. Give it to someone that can play. That was always what I was taught at school. Look, I know the game's moved on and all that sort of stuff, but as a kid, when I played in defensive midfield as a kid, 1 or 2 times, and I could play a little bit when I was playing football. And look, these are fucking pro athletes. This is not Sunday league. But when you're told to in that defensive role, my manager used to say to me, break up the play, win the ball, then give it to someone that can play. So I ain't got a clue where this is all coming from. This is the thing about the thing in this country, Ryan. We build people up to try and knock them down.
Yeah, I mean,
and I even see, like, before the game even kicked off on Saturday. Or yeah, it was Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The game even kicked off on Saturday. I see pundits saying he shouldn't be playing for England.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Gary Neville was one. Now, one thing I'd say about Gary Neville is he turned around and said that Declan Rice shouldn't have been allowed to play for England because he obviously represented Ireland, never made a competitive game for Ireland, Republic of Ireland. But the thing is with Gary Neville, what he's got to realise is he's got to look at a few of his former teammates. Now, Owen Hargreaves was born in Canada and he played for Wales. I think it was the under-19s or something like that. But then he chose England. He didn't seem to complain about him. Ryan Giggs played for England schoolboys when he was younger. He ended up choosing Wales. So Declan Rice had a decision to make, and he made it. He chose England, and that's what he wants to do. And some of the stuff I've seen from pundits, like respected pundits, like Ian Wright as well, that was sort of slating Declan Rice, saying that he doesn't play the forward balls and things like that. Now, these are pundits that have played at the very top and represented their countries. They should be protecting young players because I don't see Ian Wright sort of digging out players. Like, whenever someone digs out Sterling, Ian Wright's the first to jump on their backs, you know, other young players as well. So players like pundits like Ian Wright and Gary Neville, who have played at the very top, as I said, they should be protecting people like Declan Rice and getting behind him because he is the future of England. He's chose England. And hopefully Declan Rice will be in that holding midfielder role for the next 5 to 10, well, even longer years representing England.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, the way he's been sort of slated over the last couple of days, like, people seem to forget, like, they're 20 years old. Like, as you just said, Ian Wright there is the first one to protect Raheem Sterling. And do you know what? Raheem Sterling needs protecting because there are certain points of the media that just get on his back, like 100%. No, you know, don't give the kid a chance. He can't do anything. He can't give away his money and all that without people making up a story about him. There's been stories for years about him doing this and doing that, and they protect him, right? But what I would say as Raheem Sterling as a player is that Raheem Sterling is now 23, 24, been playing in the Premier League since he was about 17, 18. Yeah. At 20, he didn't look like he was going to be a player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took him to go to Man City and get coached by Pep and all that. Now, I would say, apart from like Harry Kane, probably one of very few sort of world-class talents in our team, Raheem Sterling. But at 20, it seemed like it was all going to slip away from him. Now, if you look at Declan Rice at 20, yeah, geezer's playing in the Premier League week in, week out. What else can he do? Playing in the Premier League week in, week out, playing well. Oh, we've got the same T-shirt on, mate. Look. Playing well. First name on the team sheet every week. Then gets into an England side after making a very tough decision, takes all this responsibility on his shoulders, and they're having a go at him because he can't pass the ball forward to Sterling, who made a run. Fuck me, mate. I see that ball that he needed, that they was all pulling for him to play. He would have been lucky to pull that off. I've seen like Henderson fucking pinging it, and Barkley pinging them, and he couldn't get that ball. Like, I really don't understand the criticism.
Yeah.
I really don't understand. I'm not just saying, but look, if he had a bad game and he didn't play well, or it cost us a goal, or cost us this, or cost us that, I would have turned around and been the first one to sort of say, yeah, he did play well. And I'm sure he would have as well. But to dig him out the way he's been digging it, and then they're pulling up stats, 96% pass rate. 96% pass rate as a young 20-year-old kid playing for England.
At Wembley as well, in front of a sold-out crowd.
Yeah, in front of 90,000 people. And they want to have a dig at him about one ball he didn't play. I think it's fucking ludicrous.
Yeah, I think
it's ludicrous. I think some of the criticism that come along with it against our academy and things like that, like, fuck me, some of the people saying about our academy and that how overhyped he is and all that sort of thing. Do you know what? He is hyped. He's hyped to the extreme. But I'll tell you something now, Ryan. I've seen some some world-class talent come through our ranks, right? I've been lucky enough to live in an era where I've seen 5 or 6 world-class talents come through our ranks. And trust me when I say this, at 20 years old, playing international football, don't forget Ferdinand didn't make an England debut till he was 21. And look what he went on to become. He is at the top of that very list.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%, mate. I mean, let's drag up a couple of comments here. There's a good one here, and he makes a good point. R1 Gaming. After the last World Cup, everyone said England need a class centre defensive midfield who does the simple things. Now they're complaining when we have it, and that's a good point there, because we did say that, didn't we? Because everyone was complaining sort of about Eric Dyer. Declan Rice has. We was at Declan Rice's debut a couple of seasons ago. He come on against Burnley last game of the season, and ever since then he hasn't looked back. He's broke into the team, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet now. So,
and this is why punditry and things like that, Ryan, pisses me off. Like, this is why it pisses me off, and this is why, like, fan channels like ours and other people's, listen, they're making assumptions and what's the word? What's a good word for it? They're making judgments on a player, watching him once in a blue moon for England, watching him once in a blue moon for West Ham, then watching Match of the Day, right? And this is where like people like us come into play here, and you've got other fans of other teams turning around slagging him off, like following the trend and all that sort of stuff. Listen, I watch that kid week in, week out, and I'll tell you what he does. When he does something right, and he's made mistakes, we've all seen him make mistakes. Well, I remember the Newcastle game when he made some bad mistakes. The Leicester game when he made some bad mistakes. What he does, he gets himself up, dusts himself off, takes it all on his shoulders, takes responsibility, and fucking learns. At 20 years, I don't know. Look, what was Ian Wright doing when he was 20? He wasn't even playing fucking football.
No.
So, you know what I mean? It's that's what I'm saying. They ain't got a fucking clue what they're talking about. And this is why that I always respect opinions of fans that go and watch these players week in, week out. If a Man United fan turns around and says to me, you've got to look at this kid coming through, he's 19 years old, he's going to be the bollocks, I'd listen to him more than I would listen to, say, someone like Ian Wright, because Ian Wright sees him for one game in every 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's a bit nonsense, and it just seems to me like they just, especially with him being Irish, like of Irish descent, and played for Ireland. I don't think they can wait to get an excuse to knock him down. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's terrible. he's class, Declan Rice. He will be class for years to come.
Do you also think that maybe it's because he don't play for a top 4 club? Because if he played for a City, a Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, even a Man United, I know they're not top 4 anymore, but they wouldn't dig him out as much. I just think that sometimes they automatically think that England players have to play for top 4, but Gareth Southgate doesn't do that. He chooses from all around. Look, there's Leicester players in there. He gives people a chance that are on form. And Declan Rice at the moment is one of the best young central defensive midfielders in the country, if not Europe.
At the end of the day, when it comes to England, mate, you're more of an England fan than I'm an England fan. You love watching England. You love following England. I'm a fair weather England fan. If I'm totally honest, if they turned around and didn't pick Declan Rice, it wouldn't break my heart. You know what I mean? I like him being in England squad just for personal, achievement and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, it gives him a buzz and all that. If they didn't pick him, it wouldn't break my heart because, the Dean Ashton saga is still very fresh in my mind. I'm always worried that they're going to come back injured and not be able to play Premier League football. So it doesn't really annoy me, that sort of thing. But yeah, there is definitely 100% a bias towards top. Like they go on about Jesse Lingard, some of these pundits, when they, as I say, watch 1 in 10 Man United go, probably a bit more because Man United will be on the telly a bit more. They go on about him like he's the Messiah. He's fucking shit.
Yeah.
I think better Championship players than him.
Yeah, he probably struggles.
All he's worried about is fucking his Instagram and dressing up and singing these silly songs. Kid's 27 years old now. Done nothing.
Declan Rice, I was reading earlier, apparently he done an interview today in the newspaper and he's been saying that his family's been getting threats and things like that. And it's threats, not through the England performance, but mainly because of when he switched from Ireland to England. And I just don't get it, mate. I really don't. And I just think it's for a player like that to be looking over his shoulder already at the age of 20, worrying what people are going to do or say. He's under a lot of pressure already. Every player that steps on a Premier League at any level is under pressure straight away. So I do feel sorry for him. And what you said about Lingard, he's what, 20? How old is he? He's in his mid-20s, isn't he?
27. About 27 he is.
Speaking of Man United, mate.
I'll tell you what, mate. I've got an iPad here. I'll check exactly how.
There was comments from a Man United channel about our Academy of Football. The Rio Ferdinand. I can't remember his name now. You know who it is. I thought that was.
The thing is, that's Adam McCullough. I know Adam. I've worked with Adam a few times on various projects over the last 3. I like Adam. He's a nice guy, but he's a fucking mare there because he's naming people that ain't even coming out of our academy.
Nah.
And to be fair, mate, like Man United are the biggest club in the world. And why he's sitting there worrying about what's coming out of West Ham's academy when they haven't had anyone fucking notable since the class of '92?
Exactly, because we're probably two of their rivals now. That's why, because they see teams like they see their 2 rivals, Man City and Liverpool, taking over domestic football in Europe, and they're just sitting there like struggling, worrying about what West Ham are doing and teams like that.
About our academy, mate, they bought Phil Jones. They bought him for money.
Yeah, I see one Man United fans trying to say that Wayne Rooney come through their academy, and that just about sums up most of their fan base, really. That they don't even know that they bought him from Everton. It's ridiculous, and for them to sit. We could sit here now and list off name after name after name teams that you look some of the players that have come through our youth academy in our lifetime, and you include people like John Terry in that. People forget that John Terry was at West Ham Academy. And then after that, you've had players
Richardson, who played for Man United, come through West Ham's academy.
You've had players like Jack Collinson come through, Stanislas that has played at the top in the Premier League. Then you can,
to be honest, mate, that people like sort of not slate our academy, but they only judge academies on players that have gone on to play at the very top. And we have got probably in the last 20 years, we're probably up there with Southampton in the fact of the amount of people that have gone on to be truly, truly world class as players. Won Champions League. I think Frankie Lampard come second in Ballon d'Or one year when he was at Chelsea. You know, we're probably up there with Southampton in the last 20 years. There hasn't been an overly like influx like we did at that time. There hasn't been sort of a purple patch of like player after player coming out. But we've gone on to have players that have gone on to have very good careers with, you know, not only Premier League teams, but Richardson, who played for Manchester United, he come out of our academy. He had a very good career with Man United, very good career with Sunderland. As you said, John Terry, you know, probably a world-class defender. But then you've got people like Freddie Sears who have gone on to have good careers in the lower leagues and things like that. There's loads of them, like, you know, Chris Cohen, for instance, went on to have a very, very good career, captained, you know, countries and you know, teams in the first division. And like, you know, you can't just go on and sort of look at an academy and its success. But obviously, the success of academy, you have to keep your players, and that's what we're trying to do with Declan Rice. We've had Marky Noble come through, James Tompkins, who have been two very, very good players. You know, Mark Noble could have and should have probably got 1 or 2 caps for England. You know, and we've had a few that come in and drifted out. We're having a sort of a purple patch again with Declan Rice. Nearly had Reece Oxford, nearly had Reece Burke. Looking at Ben Johnson for someone to come through next. Grady Diangana is absolutely smashing it at West Brom in a minute. He could come back and be the new Ryan Giggs. You know, so, you know, Declan Rice is just, I'll be honest, he's just head and shoulders above everyone else. Like, and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, mate, at the beginning, we're obviously gonna back Declan Rice all day long because he's one of our players. But I just feel a bit sorry for him at the moment. I just feel like it might sort of, with the backlash that he's got over the last few days, it might sort of force Gareth Southgate to leave him out of the team tomorrow night, which is, I don't think is right. Which I personally don't think Gareth Southgate will. I
don't think Southgate's that weak.
No, it's going to be a tough game tomorrow against Kosovo. They obviously beat Czech Republic the other day, so England need to go and win. It's at Southampton, so it's a smaller ground than obviously Wembley. So yeah, it's listen, any player that pulls on the England shirt, they've got pressure on them. We know that over the years. The press have hounded our players over the last 20 years. But yeah, I mean,
we don't let. This is the thing about the press and you know and the media and all that. They don't let our players just play. There's got to be an issue. You know what I mean? Raheem Sterling. The amount of times they've tried to bring that kid down, gun tattoos and balloons and all this sort of nonsense. You know, what does it matter? He's playing football at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, he'll buy his mum an house and you know, the headline will be he done the estate agent over $1,000. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. It's just ridiculous. Like, and the thing is with England, there'll always be a scapegoat, and I'm just worried that he might become the next scapegoat. Yeah,
I sort of agree with that. I think with obviously the Ireland situation as well, he might become the press's scapegoat and the pundit scapegoat. But let's hope not. There's
a lot of Irish pundits, a lot of Irish, you know.
Well, they had Roy Keane on there the other day. I mean, I don't know why he does England games, because he's got nothing good to ever say about England.
Roy Keane ain't got nothing good to ever say about anyone.
No, I mean, I think
negative people. Yeah. To be honest with you, I like him at times because he speaks the truth. You know, when other people, but most of the time, it's just absolute. Like, I was watching a thing with Roy Keane on the TV earlier about his time at Man United and things like that. And the geezer ain't even got respect for the people that employed him for 12 years, you know? Yeah. He ain't even got the respect of that. He's fell out with everybody he's worked with. He's fell out with everybody that he's played. He was a very good player, Roy Keane. And I understand some players, like, they judge people by their standards.
See, I don't think he was. I think he was. Listen, he was a decent player. I wouldn't say he was world class. He was a good captain, good leader, but I think he's always been sort of overrated. I mean, if it wasn't for Alex Ferguson, Roy Keane wouldn't have as many trophies and that in his cabinet at home. There's no way. He probably wouldn't even played it for a top 4 club. And I'm being honest there. I think that he was lucky, and for him to sit there. And one thing that pisses me off about like people like Gary Neville, they sit there and they haven't got the bollocks to stand up to people like Roy Keane because they're sort of scared of them. Now, he should have more respect for someone like Sir Alex Ferguson, I think. And I think what I see of him the other day was Roy Keane showing his true colours. And there's a reason why he's never made it as a manager, because he hasn't got the man-manager skills. And that's why he is a pundit on the telly. But yeah, I mean, when I say I'm not saying that Roy Keane weren't a good player, but I think he was sort of overrated a little bit, and that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, look, that's that. I thought he was a good player. He knew how to lead from the front and all that sort of thing. I'll give him his due on that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I do overrate him. Maybe people do overrate him. He had a lot of very talented people around him at the time. So that could have hidden some of his, could have hid some of his sort of frailties as a player. You know what I mean, and things like that. But what is the point in having that? It's only just to drive controversy. It's only just to drive views. You know what I mean? Because you call someone a dickhead or whatever. As he's an Irishman. Not only is he an Irishman, he's a bitter Irishman who's going to have nothing good to say about someone that fucking turned his back on the Republic of Ireland, even though, he's gone back to manage the Republic of Ireland. He turned his fucking back on the Republic of Ireland 20 years ago when he walked out of the World Cup. So, because he thought he was bigger than the manager, because he thought he was bigger than this. Why they have him doing punditry on England games, I don't know. Like, even when I watched the England game, right? Yeah, it wasn't quite working. It was 1-0 at half time. There was a couple of things to work on. And he was like, "Oh, they ain't come out the traps. They could get beat here." And I was thinking, "Fucking hell, it's not that bad. They've had about 2 chances in the whole half."
Well, this is what I'm saying. I mean, I couldn't understand. Look, Bulgaria turned up and they put 10 men behind the ball from the start till finish, and it took England to break them down. And eventually, when we did break them down, we went on to win 4-0. I know there was 2 penalties, but we battered them, and that's what a lot of teams are going to do. That when they come to Wembley, when they play England, especially now, England have got such a young, talented squad that if Gareth Southgate can keep them together and get it right, we can have good tournaments in the next 3 or 4 tournaments without a doubt with this crop of youngsters coming through, and there's more youngsters to come through. So the future's bright for England, I think, and it's not like the old days. Teams are going to be hard to break down, especially when, as I said, putting 10 men behind the ball.
Yeah, listen, England is probably a discussion for someone else. We're discussing Declan Rice, and yeah, it's unbelievable, what some of these pundits are doing. And, I don't know whether they're being paid by people or whatever to say these sort of things. I don't know. I can't get my head around it. But as I said before, that's why people like us exist. That's why people like fan channels exist. And that's why why we should be given more respect. You're never going to get respect from mainstream media. We threaten their existence and all that sort of thing, like newspapers and things like that. When you see like people like Arsenal Fan TV who've got 1 million subscribers and pulling in more views than people all across Sky and things like that, it frightens them. It frightens them massively, and people start to sort of realise that we're passionate. We say some stupid things and all that, but no more stupid than the people that watch a football game. Like a couple of years ago when Gary Neville was talking about the Arsenal fans calling for Arsenal. Wenger said, yeah, he watches them one game in 20. You know what I mean? Like, listen to the people that watch them week in, week out, and you might realise, football's a game of opinions, and I can respect that. But when your opinion is formed on, one display or one pass or one game or whatever, then you're talking nonsense. You're talking nonsense, and your opinion. And the problem with this thing is, mate, is they pay these people. They pay these people to give their opinions.
Yeah.
What's the comments saying? I can't see any comments.
Yeah, let's go into the comment. Look, Jake Walker, this is aimed at me. Rice is a million miles away from the player Roy Keane was. Even at the same age, Keane was a better player. Now, I didn't compare Roy Keane and Declan Rice. But as for Roy Keane as a 20-year-old, I can't really remember him as a 20-year-old. He was probably at Nottingham Forest. The game was a lot different back then.
Probably playing in the League of Ireland, mate.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, I'll go back on the comment about Roy Keane is that a lot of people saying there about, come on, Ryan, he is world class. Look, we've all got opinions. I'm not saying Roy Keane wasn't a good player. He was a decent player, but he won a lot of things because of the players around him as well. He's a great captain, don't get me wrong, and a great leader, and he's someone that you'd want in your dressing room. But yeah, I mean, you see it with Roy Keane in his playing days that he didn't let anyone bully his teammates, and that's one thing I did respect about him. But since he's become a bit of a pundit, I just feel like he always looks like someone's broken his house on Christmas Day and nicked his Christmas presents. You know what I mean? He's just got that look about him. But oh look,
bitter. That's what he is, bitter.
Yeah, I'm not comparing Rice and King because they played in two different eras. Roy Keane won't last 2 minutes in this era because he couldn't put in the tackles that he used to, because now he gets sent off every week, just like players like Julian Dix and Vinnie Jones and Dennis Wise and players like that. And it's a shame, but I loved the football back then. Keane and Vieira was one of the best pairings going when they come up against each other, and you will never get them sort of rivalries again on the pitch. So yeah, I mean, but going back to Declan Rice, mate, you know, as I said, we're going to defend him all day long, but I think there's other fans out there as well that will defend him from other clubs. You sort of found that with Newcastle fans last season when they was comparing Declan Rice to Longstaff, and then we played them. Declan Rice scored, and Longstaff was in his pocket all game. So it's that's a good one. Razor Ruddock as well. He won't last 2 minutes. That's what I'm saying. The game's moved on a lot since them days.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, it's any other thing you want to talk about, mate? There's not really been much. This is the thing with international break, isn't it? There's not really much West Ham stuff happening. I mean, it is mainly the Declan Rice stuff at the moment.
Media ban.
Hey,
I know we spoke about this a little bit more, but it's gone a bit further since we spoke about this. The media ban, the fan channel media ban. They're banning all. I think what they're doing is they're banning people from getting the post-match press conferences.
Okay.
Which I find is odd because, like, they're out there, you know what I mean? Like, and I think what it is, I think it's something to do with KUMB or whatever it is. And let me just adjust my camera a little bit, mate.
I see something about Worcester as well, didn't they? Sang about Worcester. They was the it might have been an article. I was saying about knees up Mother Brown and Worcester. I didn't read it. They was saying it was outraged that they wasn't allowed the access that they used to have. So
it was. I don't think it's so much that. I mean, they have spoke about that in the last week. I think we spoke about on the last show, and I've got, when I get the laptop back, I've got a musing to put up, which I speak about quite extensively. But I think what it is that KUMB have always been a website. They've been running for 21 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them websites. I like KUMB. Some people don't like KUMB. You know what I mean? I go there, visit there, sort of, you know, once a day just to check in for news and all that stuff. I won't go on Claret and New, but some people like Claret and New. You know what I mean? So it's you know, of preference and whatever. And what it is they've had like access to. I think one of their guys that run their forum or saying is a journalist, and he normally sends on the audio file of the press conference. Since they sort of got banned from going to them themselves, there's still a journalist that ranks among their forums, and he's sending on the press conference for KUMB to put up. And I think the guy's name's Ben Campbell. He's the head of media now. We used to know Max. We used to know Max quite well, Max Fitzgerald. I thought Max was a lovely bloke who went to work for Wolves a couple of years ago. And the new guy's named Ben Campbell. And he is trying to drive a fucking a wedge between them, because he's turned around and said something like, if, you know, he found out who shares the file with KUMB, and he said to them that if they sort of share the file with them anymore, they'll be banned from press conferences. So this I don't know, it's just driving a fucking wedge right in the, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And then obviously, you look at players like players. You look. Cause I'm reading that. You look at sites like Claret and Hugh that they get information fed from the club.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Like, this is what confuses me, because they're happy to feed information. I mean, the website you just mentioned there, Ryan, had fucking people's pay details, like, down to the bonuses and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about Declan Rice again. That is, and they don't want him to have put up a fucking press conference that's in the public domain. Like, yeah, it's borderline dictatorship. To be quite honest with you. Like,
it makes you think.
We don't use them press conferences and all that sort of stuff, so it doesn't really affect us. But when I think about like how out of touch this club are getting, and like, it's all about negative press, and I think what they got done for is something like unprecedented negativity or something like that, or unnecessary negativity on their foot. It's a fucking West Ham forum. If they're playing like fucking wankers, then you should be entitled to say they're playing like wankers. And this is the fucking problem with that club, is that the fact that when you get to the point where you're telling the truth about them, they don't fucking like it. And this is what I said about it. All goes back to what I said in the last one. They give people access. I mean, Claret and you yesterday, like, let's talk about fucking Sean Wexton. He's tweeting something out saying, I think I've heard there's a fucking an anniversary game for the FA. He's got a fucking photo of it. What do you mean I've heard this saying like that? You got a fucking photo of it in front of you. Like, someone within that club has forwarded it onto him.
Yeah.
So like why say, oh, I've heard there's something going on to that? Like, you know there's something going on. Like, don't talk nonsense. He probably took the fucking photo himself.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, and this is the thing. They only want to give you access, and they only want to use this and use that as a way to fucking like get you to say what they want to say. And that's what all the unnecessary, like, I haven't had a go at the ball for a long time. Like, I'm enjoying the football this year. Like, I'm trying to stay away from moaning about this and moaning about that and moaning for the sake of moaning. But when they do these things, I think you've got a right to moan. Do you know what I mean? I think you've got a right to moan. And like, as I said, I'm not bothered about media access to West Ham. I don't use press conferences. Would it be nice to use their Wi-Fi? Yeah, it would be nice to use their Wi-Fi. Would it be nice to be able to send someone into a press conference to give some exclusive news? Yeah, it would be nice to do that. I don't find out any information because nobody's going to give me any information. Do you know what I mean? Because,
yeah,
it's sort of things like that. And I wouldn't want to sell our integrity. And I've said this many, many times. I can't turn around and say, well, give us an interview with Lansley. Let us do like a headers and volleys, like, what Hammers Chat done, because they asked you to do ridiculous things. And that's what Hammers Chat, refused to do, is like spin positivity for them. And I've heard it firsthand. I've heard it from people that, have had this sort of access, and, they have done a few things that they, probably regretted, and, taking videos down and all that. And that's why I like being like we are, because they can't tell us to take anything down. What I say is my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, my opinion isn't going to affect me getting into the ground next week, because I buy my ticket, because I buy my fucking, my program, because I fucking pay for my pint. You know what I mean? I use my own Wi-Fi. So whatever I say is, they can't turn around and say to me, well, don't say this or say that.
I bet football clubs hated it when social media got invented and things like YouTube, because it gives fans the sort of choice and to say what they want. And because back in the day, you couldn't do that, could you? You couldn't go on the
that's why they don't. I think that's why they don't give access, because they reserve that right to give access to people that will only say what they want them to say. And you know what I'm talking about, Ryan.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. It's I mean, hopefully it might change. I mean, we've never spoken to this. Is it Ben Campbell? Did you say?
Mm.
Yeah, we've never spoken to him, so maybe we could,
That annoys me, Ryan, because
we're not going to sell our soul.
As I said before, you know, they owe us a couple of things, West Ham, over like the you know, the stuff that we you know, we helped them advise them on, you know, with the, you know, meetings and all that sort of stuff. We was very involved in that. Give up our time. They said they'd give us a couple of things. Like I wanted to fucking rinse David Sullivan in an interview. Said they'd give it to us. Never materialised. Just sort of keep us to the side of it. But as I said before, I've never, you know, proclaimed that I was going to sell my integrity. You know what I mean? I helped them out and I expected them to give me something in return. They never did. They can go fuck themselves. At the end of the day, like I said before, my value and the reason we started the channel is the value is talking to the fans, because nobody does that. Nobody talks to the fans. Nobody listens to their opinion. Nobody does this. Nobody does that. You know, and they don't want to sort of listen to fans' point of views and all that sort of stuff. And you know, if I was to sort of ask for an exclusive interview with Antonio or Lanzini or someone like that, and they turned around and said, "Yeah, you can do that, but you're not allowed to you know, call us cunts anymore," then I'll tell them to stick out their arse like I have.
Yeah, no, I know, mate, and that's why a lot of people like our channel. Some people don't, some people do. It's what it is. I think as fans, I think it's refreshing to hear people speak the truth, and I think, you know what, there's probably, we know some of the players watch our stuff as they watch other channel stuff, so maybe sometimes they like to hear proper fans' opinions instead of people who just blow smoke up their arse all the time.
Well, I think so. I think it's, you know, there's obviously going to be people that don't like it, but you look at Arsenal Fan TV. Arsenal Fan TV have got like fucking people that, you know, that you know, they slag people off to the extreme at times. You know what I mean? And you know, they're friends with people like Aubameyang and Lacazette.
Well, I was just about to say that. Did you see Robbie yesterday at the Italian Grand Prix with Aubameyang?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, Robbie was at the Italian Grand Prix with standing there talking to Aubameyang. He got him on his channel, and that's what I'm saying. It's mad that he gets them sort of opportunities to do that, and we can't even get a sniff. We can't. We're just about to say hello.
Well, Arsenal, you know, it's because of the popularity of Arsenal Fan TV, and you know, people, you know, players do watch it and all that sort of stuff, and they embrace it. You know, I see an Instagram story with it the other day, when one of their guys was doing an Instagram story, and you know, you can do this thing where you can, you know, you can request to join into an Instagram story, and it joined into an Instagram story. People embrace it. People embrace, like, you know, some footballers do respect sort of like you know, fan opinion and all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? And there should be more people, like, as I said before, we've done a fucking Iron Man premiere. You know, we was a fan channel sitting there at the red carpet, invited by the people that filmed the Iron Man film, and one player stopped. They was all there, and one player stopped. And what player was that? Ginger Pele, the one that you would probably expect to stop. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems a bit downbeat tonight, doesn't it? It's all like sort of negative stuff. Is there?
Listen, I'm still happy, mate.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit about positives. I mean, we spoke a bit about it last week. I mean, have you had a chance to sort of sit down and really reflect on the first 5 games of the season, including the cup, and like how? Out of 10, what would you rate our start? I mean, that was the title of the video last week. I don't think both of us give the. I think Scott give us a sort of 9 out of 10, which I think is a bit too much.
You know what? I would say sort of like a 9 or an 8 or something like that. But
I went for an 8.
I think the drubbing at City sort of took it down a little notch.
And the performance at Brighton wasn't great.
It was a shit performance of Brighton, and it's easy to sort of look past that when you've won the last 2 games. But you know, we've got some very promising players, as I said. Issa Diop, Fabianski in goal is a rock. Issa Diop is going to be a superstar. You know, Declan Rice is going to be a superstar. And you look at our forward line now. We're up there with everybody. Like, you know what I mean? In the fact of, you know, you got a centre forward that wants to score goals, that could easily, you know, notch 20 this season if he carries on the form he's in. You know, you've got attacking players like Lanzini and what's his name, Fornals and Anderson, who was absolutely stunning against Norwich. I want to see that more from Anderson. If we see that sort of like 3 weeks in every 4 from Anderson, he's world class. You know what I mean? And like when I look back at the game, I look back at the full game. He was world class that day. You know, and then we can damage teams. And then when you put the likes of Antonio to come back, Yarmolenko who's starting to find his feet again, Jack Wilshere and getting it. There's loads to be positive about. And as I said before, whisper it to your neighbour. But we could be looking at a serious challenge on the top 6 this year. When you look at the likes of Man United and Chelsea, even Tottenham, who have faltered a little bit in the last couple of weeks. You know what I mean? And we could be mounting a challenge up there. You know, we get all these gears working in order.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a little sort of like what you've seen out the first 5 games. I mean, I'll read out some players here, and let's sort of rate them. Let's have a little players rating so far. So Fabianski.
I don't think he started as well as he did last year, so I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him about a 7 as well. Do you want to do Roberto? He's only played 1 game in the cup, kept a clean sheet.
10.
Yeah, give him a 10. Right, Ryan Fredericks. Now he's been getting a lot of abuse this season by some fans, but I think he's had a sort of decent start, and I think he's shown at times why he is our first choice right back. He does get caught out sometimes, but what player don't? What fullback don't?
I'll give him a 6. Solid 6.
6, yeah. I'll give him. Yeah, I'll go for a 6 as well. Now Masuaku, for me, from what I've seen of him in the first few games, I'm gonna give him an 8 because I've really been impressed with Masuaku, especially on
8 all day long, mate. 8 all day long.
Issa Diop.
Yeah, he struggled against in the cup game, didn't he? I'll say 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give him a solid 7. One player who's out of favour at the moment, Balbuena. That's a difficult one. I'm going to give him a 5 just because I don't really want to go below 5. But he's missed out the last few games, the general. So yeah, it's a difficult one to judge him on really because I thought he done well in the cup. I thought he had a solid game, but then he's obviously been left out the last 2 league games.
But they're great options to have, mate. You know what I mean? When Reedy comes back eventually, you'll have another one there to
Ogbonna
be contending for a place. Ogbonna, I'll give him a 6.5 as well. Started off dodgy, always seems to, didn't he? But sort of grows into seasons as the season goes on. He keeps his place as a regular, which he seems to be at the minute. I'll give him a 6.5.
The man on everyone's lips at the moment, young England international Declan Rice.
I'll say 7.
7, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say 7. No, done nothing spectacular as of yet. As I say, does his job well. Struggled a little bit in the first 2 games because of the lack of cover with him. Starting to come back into his stride now again. As I say, like the problem is I think some players, like when they're young like that, it's so easy to have a great season and then not get back into your stride because you think you've fucking done it. I think that's what Declan does well. Is it, even though he started a little bit poorly, I think that he's getting back into his stride again, and he'll have another.
Yeah, one thing I love about Declan Rice, he doesn't let anything go to his head, and I think that's why he's very grounded, and that's why he's gonna go to the very top. But Mark Noble, he gets a 12 from me. Now I'm gonna give Mark Noble an 8 from his the last 3 games he's been back. Watford, who do we play? Watford.
Cup game.
No, who we played in the league?
Norwich.
Watford, Norwich. I'm sure he's played 3 games, isn't he? I can't remember now. I forgot who we've played. But now, since he's come back into the team, he's been unbelievable. He's proving everyone wrong, all the doubters wrong, and it's good to see. And yeah, Noble for me, I'll give him an 8 so far.
I'll give him a 9.
Let's have a look here. Couple more players. Antonio out with injury, but before that, he was really starting to show signs, wasn't he, that he was going to be that player that we all love.
8.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8 as well. Now let's get into the forward players now. Let's start with Yarmolenko.
I'm going to remove this Tottenham fan because I can.
7.
Yarmolenko, yeah, 7.
7.
He's still getting back into his stride. Scored a great goal.
Felipe Anderson.
That's a tough one.
I'm going to go for an 8. He's very close to a 9, but I'm just going to go for an 8 because I think the Man City and the Brighton game he sort of went missing in.
Yeah.
But Watford,
he was 11 out of 10. He was 11 out of 10 against Norwich. So yeah, I'll go for an 8 as well. Yeah.
And then I won't really include Hernandez because he's no longer with the club. So
2.
Yeah, I'll give him a 3 because of his finish against Brighton. But Sebastian Haller.
8.5.
See, I'm going to go for a 9 because I think he's been our outstanding player. He hasn't. I think he's just going to get better and better every game he plays, and he's got 3 goals in his last 2 games. His link-up play with the midfield is great. Do you know what? I've missed one player out there. I was talking about him after, but yeah, I'm gonna give him a 9.
I'll go 8.5.
The last person, I'm going to go for Lanzini. I forgot about Lanzini. I don't know how I've done that. Sorry, Lanzini.
I think the same. I think Lanzini, he's my Hammer of the Year for the month. And I have to say, Hammer of the Year for the month. Hammer of the month, sorry. I have to say it with a pinch of salt because obviously I missed 3 games. You know what I mean? I didn't see them. So I have to say that with a pinch of salt. But when I look at the Man City and Brighton games, he was the only one having a go. Do you know what I mean? Like at times. And what I've seen from him over the last 3 games when the highlights and that, he's been like instrumental. I'm going to go for a 9 for Lanzini.
Yeah, I'll go for a 9 as well, especially his performances against Watford and Norwich. Last weekend. I definitely. So I was putting it. Let's have a look at
Hammer of the Year for the month.
Hernandez gets us -1 for crying and throwing his toys out of the pram like a big baby to get his move. Mr. A says 8 Lanzini started slowly. Gary Page, Haller is the best striker we've ever had. Am I wrong? Oh, I wouldn't say we've ever had. There's a lot of people. He's definitely going to be sort of, I'll say within the last 10 years, most probably, he's probably been the best striker we've had. But to say ever, there's been some great strikers at West Ham. But if he can get anywhere near some of our top strikers, then he's going to be a hell of a player.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see? Let's talk about 20 years since the Youth Cup final.
Yeah. I was looking at that earlier on the website. Mental, innit? Mental.
Some of them people we spent a little bit of time with last summer in Europe. You know what I mean? So they're lovely guys, and I'm glad that the club sort of recognised that day by allowing them to do it. But I don't know why they didn't give them more coverage.
Well, no, I was about to say, why do it behind closed doors? Why not do it at sort of Rush Green and let people go there and watch?
Probably safety issue at Rush Green. They could have done it they could have done it.
There's not a safety issue at Rush Green because the ladies play there. So
yeah, but they don't expect sort of thousands of people to turn up with the ladies, do they? They're going into the London Stadium, and they ladies.
Yeah, I think it'd have been a bit. I think the London Stadium would have been a bit too big for the 99 game. But yeah, apparently they lost on penalties, so Coventry got their own back. But I suppose it's always good for them to see their old teammates. And Tony Carl was there. Michael Carrick wasn't there, but Joe Cole was there, who was obviously
he was there when he Carrick. He was there but didn't play.
Oh, he might have been there but didn't play. But
yeah,
I mean,
I played. I heard. Defoe played.
Defoe?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Why would Defoe play?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask you.
No, I don't. I didn't see him on the team photo.
I see him on a list. They showed a list, and it said Defoe played.
Nah, news to me. I didn't see him on the list earlier, but yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, we was there that night, and it's one of them nights you'll never forget at the bowling because it was unbelievable. I mean, I remember they only opened one stand, and then by the time kickoff come, they had to open all 4 stands. And I remember people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember it was like 25,000 people there, wasn't it?
People were walking around the side of the pitch to get into the chicken run. It was mental. A mental night, mate, and you always remember it through Joe Cole, who run the show that night, along with Michael Carrick and a few of the other players as well. And
Michael Carrick was running the Great North Run. That's why he weren't there.
Fair play to him then. But he was at the other reunion that they had for it a few months ago.
Oh, that must have been the photo where what I see then.
Yeah, they was. He was there. He was definitely there. He was definitely there for that, but. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to talk about, mate. If I'm honest, it's mainly the Declan Rice story tonight that we spoke about is the main thing. So yeah, unless you got anything else, mate,
annoys me. That does.
We've got I mean, we won't. What are we going to do about the next live show? Because we're not here Thursday, are we? So, I mean, we could do one Friday, but I don't think there's going to be much to talk about, really, is there?
No, maybe we'll miss one out for a week, won't it?
Next Monday, we've obviously got Aston Villa away, so the show might be moved to Tuesday.
Yeah, probably Tuesday next week.
Yeah, so, but I mean, that's it, mate. I mean, there's nothing really else to talk about. I mean, if there's anything you can think of for another...
Do you want to tell them what we're doing
2 minutes?
Thursday?
I don't really know what we're doing, mate, so... I don't really want to say.
Pal just said, Nicky, did you go to a hotel called Grand Bahia Principe? Yes, I did, mate. That's the hotel I was staying at. Luxury. Do you want to tell them what we're doing?
I don't really know what it is, mate. So I don't really want to mention it just in case we're not allowed to. So I know we're going to a charity thing, but I don't really know the details of it yet. So
we'll mention it on Thursday. We'll do a little live video when we're together Thursday, just to tell you what we're doing.
This is a good question. Lewis Mayer, when Noble retires, who would you like to take the armband?
That's a hard question because, you know, he's a couple of years off. You don't know who we got by then.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands now, if Declan Rice, I'll just give away the answer there, but if Noble was to step down tomorrow, it'd be Declan Rice for me all day long. Declan Rice, or you never know, maybe Diop, you know, as a future captain. That's one thing we're lacking a lot of in the team is a lot of leaders. You take out Noble and Rice, you look around, there's not really a lot. But here's a good question for you, mate, and I'm sure you're going to answer this. Can I get a West Ham Fan TV printing on my West Ham shirt?
What do you mean?
He probably means can he get a West Ham Fan TV T-shirt with our logo printed on it, not on his West Ham shirt.
Well, you get it printed on the back of your West Ham shirt, mate. Probably cost you about 25 quid, but I'd rather you go to the store and buy a T-shirt for that, mate. We are going to put another T-shirt in the store. I've been a little bit busy since I got back off of holiday, but I haven't picked up the laptop from Ryan yet, obviously. So by the time I do that, I'll send over the artwork for the guy to put up the T-shirt and thing. I know I'm working on a batch for October, like new T-shirts. As I said, with the like designs that we've got in the shop, like you need to be checking back all the time because come October we're going to have a brand new fresh batch going in there and all that. Some of them are going to come down. So if there's any you like and you're holding off, some designs are going to disappear. Like if they're not doing too well, they'll disappear out the store. So if you've got an eye on the design, go and check out the store now and get it because come October time, we're wiping a few of them out and we're going to put new ones in. And some of the new ones are, I'll tell you what, you think these ones are good, Ryan. You want to see these new ones?
Yeah, I can't wait, mate. Mr. Rofskin, hello, love the channel. Thank you, mate. Here's another good one. We need some hoodies for the lovely British weather.
Well,
Coming soon.
come October.
Yeah. What else we got? It's not really it's not. I think it's the same in the chat room tonight. It's just like there's not really much going on, is there? So, oh, hang on, this is an interesting one. Should we get the old Watford manager to replace Pellegrini if we finish bottom half?
Didn't the old Watford manager just sign for Watford?
The one that's just been sacked. I think if you're not good enough for Watford, you're definitely not good enough for West Ham.
There's they've been talking about them two brothers, haven't they, for a little while? It was at Lincoln.
He's gone. They went to Huddersfield today,
and they went to Huddersfield today. Yeah. But a lot of people are saying, possibly the last step before they get here. I don't know nothing about them.
You two are West Ham's version of Ant and Dec, more like Dick and Dom.
I got the forehead.
I wish I had their money.
Yeah.
Let's. Do stewards ever give you hassle when filming fan cams? Not at home.
Once.
It's mainly once we had that situation, but it's more sometimes away games. Old Trafford's probably the worst place. We can never film fan cams at Old Trafford. Chelsea, yeah, but Chelsea we can sort of, as long as we step off their property, we can film there. But Old Trafford, you just can't do it anywhere, can you? You have to sort of go right into the coach.
The road, yeah.
Coach park.
It's difficult Old Trafford, but the worst trouble we've ever had is at Chelsea with the steward who decided to take it upon himself to start abusing us, trying to slap equipment out of our hands and all that sort of thing. Then started when he got
that was funny. That was funny though when he tried to grab the camera out of my hand. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?"
Well, he slapped it, didn't he? He spent equipment, tried to slap it out your hand, and then when he was marching us off, he said something like, fuck off back to your caravans, pikeys, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
As soon as he got behind a policeman.
Yeah. No, but yeah, apart from that, we've never had no issues at home apart from that one incident, but it was always good at the bowling. It was always good at London Stadium. I think they sort of just let us get on with it. So yeah, mate, I mean, that's it. I'll tell you what, let's have one more question. I think this is a good one to end on. Frankie James, do you think West Ham have improved in the last 15 to 20 years in terms of results? I think we sort of mix it up with the bigger boys a lot more than we used to. We used to get sort of spanked there, and it's only really Man City now that you give us a good idea. But back in them days, we used to beat Man City. So
we're a lot better in competing with certain teams. Like when we go up north and things, you know what I mean? I remember like for donkey's years, probably in the last 20 years, we haven't like went to Everton and things like that and won. You know what I mean? Like, I remember fucking getting some proper good idings up at Everton and Newcastle. Yeah, 6-0, 7-1. I remember 7-1 up at Blackburn and things like that. But in the last 20 years, I think we compete a lot more up north.
I think everyone competes better now. I mean, you look at years ago, you'd say, "Oh, we've got Coventry City at home or Southampton at home." You think, "Oh, that's a home win." But now anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League, and it proves it. The bottom can beat the top, and that's why we love the Premier League.
I think like this is a bit of a controversial one, but I think home advantage has become less of a thing.
Yeah,
because of the lack of atmospheres and things and home ground, you know.
No, definitely. Especially now, you look at the stadiums 20 years ago to now. Most teams now, nearly every team's in a new designed stadium. There's not many. It's only really in the Premier League now. You've probably got Aston Villa, Villa Park, Everton, Goodison Park, which is going to go. Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace. There's not really many old school grounds left.
I don't even think that's necessarily about the old school grounds. I think it's the people that are coming. Like, obviously, you're always going to have the fucking hooligans and things like that, but taking the working class out of the game by increasing prices and making it more sort of, I wouldn't say family friendly, because I think football's always been family friendly. It's a day for the family, but taking the working class out of it becomes a lot more satire and a lot more sterilised. And
you probably get a lot more kids and women at football now than you used to.
Yeah, women is a big one. And it's sort of like, look, I'm not going to sit here and blame women for fucking damaging the atmosphere, because I've seen women get properly involved, but It's just like sterilising it by raising prices and things like that, and making it unaffordable for the working class. You lose a little bit of that working class charm, which is a lot of people singing, getting drunk, and things like that. You know what I mean? Which sort of takes away from the atmosphere and all that sort of thing, and that in turn doesn't give you as big as a home advantage as it used to.
Yeah, Terence Crane, mate. He did. I mean, is it okay to put West Ham Fan TV on my home shirt? Me personally, I wouldn't advise that. Maybe get Hawkins 18 or something like that. But yeah, no, I wouldn't advise to get that. Don't ruin your shirt, mate. Buy one of our West Ham Fan TV t-shirts if you want to show our name off. But yeah, I wouldn't advise on ruining your home shirt. I mean, they're a lot of money.
No, don't do that, Terence.
55 quid to have.
I'm not refunding you, mate. That's
yeah, I'll definitely. Yeah, don't come to me for a refund either because I'm skint. But yeah, I mean, we've gone on for an hour, mate. I didn't think we was going to drag that out for an hour, but you know, with everything that's going on, but I think Declan Rice took up about 45 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll leave it there, mate. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight in the chat room. Sorry there wasn't that much to talk about. As always, keep subscribing to our channel. We want to close in on that 50k as soon as we can because Nicky's got some t-shirts to give away. I know we said we was going to do a t-shirt giveaway on tonight's show, but I think with everything that's gone, it's been a bit mental this week. So what we'll do is not with the next show. We're sort of
follow us on Twitter. We'll do one on now.
Yeah, we'll do one on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter at West Ham Fan TV, join us on now. We'll put it on.
Subscribe to this channel as well because I will be checking.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Nicky does keep track of it, so make sure you do subscribe. And you know, share it with your mates. Tell your mates where we are. We're enjoying doing the channel again, aren't we, mate?
Yes, mate. Yeah,
we're really enjoying it.
I'm happy to be back. I've had a refreshing holiday.
Yeah, Nicky's had a refreshing.
What else is coming back to the channel? I'll tell you what else is coming back to the channel. The Ironworks games.
What, to this channel?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good because I don't think that it don't really work on their channel, does it? So we'll show the Ironworks games. We'll get an inside with the manager Graham, who made an appearance on American Hammers TV yesterday. Graham across the pond. So yeah, no, we'll leave it there, mate. Thanks for joining me, mate. I can't wait for you to get this computer back. We'll sort that out in the next couple of days. So then I'm
going to get a camera with it so we don't get that fucking silly pixel.
Yeah, I'm going to miss the pixel. Yeah, right there, look, right there. I love it. There's a lot of comments in there. The pixel should have its own t-shirt, a lot of people are saying. So
I'll see what I can do.
Design team on that. But yeah, Nick, we'll leave it there, mate. One thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Come on, you Irons. Come on, you